Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In my last video I talked about a couple of sleeping bags that I used. There was a RAB one which was quite winter specific, and then I moved on to an out kit bag for the warmer months. So this time I want to talk about the sleeping mats that I use. I've got a couple of mats, really important part of your camping system if you want to stay warm. So let's get into it and see what they're about. So 4 years ago I decided I wanted to go wild camping in the mountains in winter. So I got myself a winter sleeping bag, and I was also looking for a sleeping mat. I had no real experience, didn't really know what I was doing. Threw myself into it and went for the warmest mat that I could find. At that time, being inexperienced, weight wasn't really a consideration for me. I didn't think that weight was a problem. It's just something you threw in your rucksack and you got on with it. Having built up my experience since then, I realised that weight can be a problem. I'm not the youngest, I'm not the fittest, and I do like to climb up the mountains and camp on the summits mostly. In winter that can be pretty hard work, but my main focus at the time was trying to keep warm when you're lying on snow. So I decided to go for an Exped Downmat, and this is the sleeping mat that I chose. The Exped Downmat 9 LW. I think the LW stands for long and wide. So as far as sleeping mats go, I think this is one of the warmest mats you can get. So if you look at the specs on this mat, you'll see that it has an R value of 8. The higher the R value, the more insulating properties that the mat has, and it has a weight of 1,220 grams. You'll also see that it's quite a lump. Again, at the time, being inexperienced, not something I was that bothered about. I thought, yeah, I'll just stick it in my rucksack with everything else and it'll be fine. So if we take a closer look at this mat, packs quite tightly into the stuff sack there. Yep, very tightly. Get a little patch kit there in case you get a puncture. Not something I've experienced with this mat. I've never had any punctures yet, but I'm really careful where I put it on the ground. But you know, things can happen, so there is a little repair kit there if you need it. Roll it out. Now, as it says in the title, this is a down mat, the Downmat 9. The down is inside of the pad, and down is one of the best insulators you can get. So that's why it's also one of the warmest pads you can get as well. Again, I went for the biggest size, thinking it would be the most comfortable and it'd be the best for me. Hindsight, maybe I could have saved a bit of weight by going a bit smaller, but anyway, this is what I got. So the 9 stands for 9 centimeters. When it's fully blown up, you're 9 centimeters off the ground. It also includes this integrated pump system. This is it here. It's basically just a piece of foam that's inside the mat, and you press down like that and it inflates the mat. I'll show you that in a minute. But what I find is in winter, this foam, it takes ages to see how it's lofted up like that, nice and lofty. When it's cold, that takes ages to loft up. So I find it quite a bit of a pain to pump up using this. So I've recently just bought the Schnozzel pump, and I think that's going to be a lot better for me. So if you look at the pumping system itself, there's a couple of hands on there. That's the valve for letting the air out of the bag. So you make sure that's closed, and then it's just a matter of both hands let the foam inflate so it's nice and lofty, and then pump. Let it reinflate, pump again. Now that's reinflating quite quickly to a good size as well, because I'm in the house now. It's probably about 20 degrees in here. When you're in the tent and it's 0 degrees, that takes ages to come back, and if you don't wait till it comes back, you're going to get less air for each pump that you make on the pad. So I just find it quite a pain really to use. I mean, it's a winter bag, so you need to use this system in winter. I've used it in summer as well, and it's a lot better, but in cold temperatures, and that's when you need the mat, it's not great. So as I say, I've gone to the Schnozzel bag, which you just close that, connect your Schnozzel bag onto there, and use that to fill it up, which I think is miles better. So here's the Exped Schnozzel bag pump thing. I've not actually used this on a camp yet, but I'm looking forward to using this instead of this system when it's cold. So the valve's shut there, take that off. Connect that onto there, and then it's just a matter of far quicker, I think, far more efficient doing it that way than messing about with this pump thing in cold temperatures. So I'll pump it up now and I'll show you what it's like when it's fully inflated. So that's it fully inflated now. As you can see, real good depth to that. That's going to keep you a long way off the cold ground that's underneath you. I like these, it's quite deeply ribbed as well, so that helps you stay on the mat when you're sleeping at night, and not roll off it. So yeah, fantastic mat, absolutely fantastic. Really warm, but it is heavy and it is bulky. But if warmth is your priority, from what I've read, I don't think there's a better mat than this. But as I say, I've only used these two mats, so that's all I'm going to talk about really. Now, as I said earlier, there is a point when weight does become a factor. If you've seen some of my previous videos where I've been hiking or wild camping, I do like to get up into the mountains. And some of the routes I take aren't that conventional. I don't like tourist routes. I like to get off the beaten track, and maybe a bit of scrambling involved as well, be that winter or summer. And when you're taking routes like this, if you've got a heavy backpack on, it does make a hell of a difference. So if there's any way you can lighten the load a bit, and I'm not obsessed with weight, but I'm always looking for ways to just reduce the weight whenever I can. So yeah, so some of the scrambling that I do en route to my campsites, it's not great to have a heavy backpack on. It could even be dangerous if it's unbalancing you, which it can do if it's too heavy. So for that reason, for me, I think weight is quite important. So this was a camp that I did last December. I'm headed up to Brown Cove Crags here on the Helvellyn range, and the further you go, the snow gets deeper, and some places you don't know how deep it is, so your foot breaks through and you're up to your knees. I'm traversing here, so it's difficult balancing, and you can see from the stats there, just a 4-mile walk, 1,500 calories burnt, and the effort I put in, maximum heart rate of 182, an average of 130, that's for 3 hours. Here again, heavy pack, it unbalances you, so the lighter you can get that pack, the more comfortable it's going to be, and it's bloody hard work trudging through this, especially the wind as well. A bigger rucksack catches the wind and it can blow you around, so something to think about there. So after a couple of years lugging this fantastic but heavy and bulky mat up mountains in winter and in summer, because this was the only mat that I had, so I used this in summer as well. After a couple of years of that, I started to think maybe there's something different that I can use to reduce the weight, just as I did with the sleeping bag, looking at reducing the weight of my pack and just making it more enjoyable. So I did my research and settled for, in the end, a Thermarest sleeping mat. It's a 3-season mat and it's the NeoAir Xlite. So as it says on the box there, it's a 3-season packable ultralight mat. If you compare the weight on this, 460 grams, and I went for the large one as well, just because of side sleeper, so I thought I could be better off with the large one. The R value on this, which is the insulating factor on it, is 3.2, so compared to the Exped it's way less, but it's miles lighter as well. This one's made up of reflective cells that reduce the amount of heat loss from your body into the ground. So if we take a closer look at the Thermarest, I keep it in this dry bag. Keeps it all tidy. Open it up. Now I also got, you don't need this, I got the NeoAir pump sack. You don't need it, but I think it's, I really prefer it when you're inflating this mat. Quite a different shape. The Exped is rectangular. This is sort of mummy shaped, but as I said earlier, I did go for the large size in this because I'm a slight side sleeper. It allows my leg to go across the mat there without falling off the side and losing heat. Yeah, so I inflate this one using the pump sack. There's just a little hole at the end there. You connect that onto there. Bit fiddly, but goes on eventually. There it is. And then eggs in there. It's usually breezy, and then just the same, pump it up like that. Doesn't take many pumps. It's quite a big pump sack, that, so you get it inflated pretty quick. So that's the Thermarest fully inflated with the pump sack. It actually takes longer to inflate this than it does to inflate the Exped. I guess there's more filling inside the Exped, so there's less airspace, maybe. Yeah, so I hope you can see that isn't the same shape as the Exped. It's, as I say, it narrows towards the foot end, wider at the head end there. But I really like this mat. I've used it down to 0 in combination with a decent sleeping bag, and it's great. The advantages as well is the pack size, as you saw, and the weight is totally different. So since I got this, I've only used the Exped if I've been camping on snow, just for the weight saving. So I've just laid them out on top of each other there, so you can see the difference. I would have liked to have done this video outside, but it's, as usual, it's raining. So there's the Exped underneath, and then you can see the tapering on the Thermarest, so it's slightly less at the foot end, but it's really not a problem at all. There's the head end, and that's the pump again on the Exped. You can also see how much thicker the Exped is in comparison to the Thermarest. So there you go, there's the two sleeping mats that I use. I just want to make it clear, this is not a comparison. I'm not comparing the Exped to the Thermarest. I think it's sold as a 3-season mat. That's sold as a full winter mat, the Exped. But I started off with this, the Exped, and I found it just to be probably overkill and a bit heavy if you're not using it in winter. So then I changed to the Thermarest, and I use this now most of the time, but I still want to keep this. If I'm camping on snow, that wins out. So I've just got to put up with the extra weight. Maybe I can save weight in my rucksack somewhere else. But if I'm camping on snow, I'm going to take the Exped, no doubt about it. The Exped, it's warmer, it's more comfortable than this, no doubt in my mind. But again, for the weight, it's not uncomfortable, but the Exped's more comfortable. But this usually wins out for the weight. People mention that it's noisy, and it nearly put me off before I bought it. But in the end, I went for it. I don't find the noise a problem at all. So hopefully that's been useful to you. Just thought I'd give you a bit of an insight into the stuff that I use. If you want to check out some of my other videos of camping videos in the mountains where I've using this stuff, please do. And stay safe until we can get back out again. And I'll see you soon, guys. Bye now.